What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. MoBeast here again. But before we start talking about the Xbox 360, I want to thank every single one of you for supporting the channel. We hit the goal of 1,000 subs, and I really can't thank you guys enough for helping me achieve that goal before the end of the year. We're only, 6 months away or 5 months away, 5.5 months, and I can't thank you guys enough because I didn't expect to hit it this soon early in the year. So I couldn't have done it without you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and watching my videos. If you haven't already and you're new and you're from the future, please like and subscribe to the channel, but let's get into it. So every console and every generation has a certain type of influence for the gaming industry. Positive, negative, or it's a failing system that leads another brand to enter the chat. So the Xbox brand started a little bit later than a majority of the consoles that we have today, PlayStation, Nintendo. It came a little bit later, and the history of the Xbox itself, the brand, was up and down. It is up and down now, but there was a moment, which was a 360 time and era, which it was really peaking. It was really up there, really competitive. There was a lot of people on the system, a lot of people buying it. A bunch of new IPs came out of it that shaped Xbox what it was today and what it's become today. And it's created a huge fan base where people who are holding on to these IPs because it's so beloved to them, and experiences and memories, and just shaped the multiplayer industry in a whole other way that none of us really expected. I'm not going to go too much into the history of Xbox. You can watch all those different documentaries out there. There's so many, some where people gather their own information, or the one specifically made by Xbox. It was several episodes long. And I really encourage watching all those type of videos if you want a little bit more, and if you're a gaming fan or an Xbox fan. But today we're only going to be focusing on the Xbox 360. We're going to talk about few aspects of it. We're going to talk about the nostalgia factor, what it did, some of the cool limited edition consoles that it came out with, some of the games that really stuck to me, how I enjoyed my time, and talk a little bit more how the Xbox 360 stands today and its use cases. So for me, the Xbox 360 was all about Halo. I never had the first Xbox. I always really wanted one, but my parents were only like, hey, only one console per generation. I didn't even get handhelds till a little bit later, to the Game Boy Advance era. So I only really had one console per generation. Each generation I had to really pick and really think hard and decide. And sometimes I never got it on launch. The 360, I probably got it a little 2 years later after its launch. No, yeah, 2 or 3 years later after its launch. I think it launched in 2006, I believe, or 2005, and I got it in around 2008. And the Xbox 360, when it came out, I remember the first time I played it, how mind blown I was. It was at Target, and the Xbox 360 demo center was there, and everyone, all the kids were huddled around it, and they had Call of Duty 3 and Madden 06. And man, Madden 06 looked insane at the time. You could see the sweat dripping down the players. The graphics were completely different, out of this world. Call of Duty 3, where you're just looking at it like, oh my God, like revisiting it now, you're just like, this is it. But at the time, like the way we saw it, it was like, this is so realistic. And the Xbox 360 came out quite a while before the PS3. I think it was almost about a year before the PS3, from what I remember. Just so that Xbox wanted to get ahead, because they knew how strong the PlayStation brand was, and they wanted to just get majority of the new sales, all the diehard fans for multiplayer games, sports games, like, hey, look at our graphics, and the PS3 still not out. So that was kind of their strategy. And at the time, the 360 was a complete, different console in its league at the time for multiplayer. Now, not to say the PS3 wasn't. The PS3 was nice because it was free, and it had a lot of the cool features. Like, and it had online play, it had all the same games that were online. It even had, Sony had its own, unique IPs that had, online as well, that were not on an Xbox. So, not to knock PlayStation 3, but the Xbox 360 was advertised and geared towards heavy multiplayer gamers, like huge games like Skyrim, Oblivion. Even though a lot of these type of games were on the PS3, it's just the marketing tactic that Xbox had. It was really dialing in and hitting hard and trying to get everyone into their ecosystem. The PS3 was about, their exclusive IPs, single player games, and all these multiplayer games. And they really did well. Like, a lot of those games are still online as well. And it's just Xbox really doubled down to get to that multiplayer aspect, because they were charging online for the month or for the year. and we're trying to get ahead to eat up the user base and the player base in order for them to have that reoccurring revenue every month or every year. So they really doubled down to be the multiplayer system, and then like, hey, if you have single player enjoyments, there's all these other games. Most of the games on the PS3 are going to be on the Xbox 360. So it was really a well-rounded console for its time. And the multiplayer gaming was, I feel like it was just the games that were on there were really it. You had Halo 3, Reach, you had Halo 4, you had Gears, the whole series, you had Call of Duty. So you really had the best of every first-person multiplayer game out there. So that's why I spent majority of my time. And a lot of people and celebrities that you see at the time, I remember the game, the rapper was talking about playing Madden for I don't know how many hours in his life on the Xbox 360. You see all the promotional images that the celebrities were buying Xbox 360s. I mean, every console does that, but Microsoft really stepped it up. Like, hey, we really got to push hard in order to compete with PlayStation. So you could really see the efforts were really standing out compared to other consoles of that generation. And Xbox really did something really well that I wish other consoles did and still do. Their limited edition consoles were really, really unique and nice, especially the Halo 3 and the Gears of War one. You had PS2 do some exclusive limited edition console colorways, but they were just like solid colors or transparent. The GameCube had a couple, variants. The handhelds, different variants. N64 had it. PS3, there was a few. But for me personally, I feel like the Xbox 360 did it the best. They really made it personable and really catered towards the fans. And it was a little bit more than just, hey, we're going to slap on a new color. Some of the consoles, like for the Halo ones and the Gears of War, when you even press the power button, it's played a specific sound that was from the game. Even the Series X for the Halo edition plays a different sound as well than the traditional, the regular Series X. Is like Xbox was adding extra touches to really have these players resonate and be attached to the Xbox brand. Xbox really stepped up their marketing. Because if you think about the last Xbox, there was only the first Xbox, there was only a few couple like variants and some were exclusive. It was that, the most popular one was the transparent green one. But really, Xbox pushed the controller variants, the special edition this, special edition that, collector's edition this, and that were exclusive to Xbox IPs. Not saying Sony didn't do that, but they were really pushing hard, like, hey, we're trying to compete. So they really gravitated. A lot of people gravitated towards it because they attracted a certain user base, a certain player base. If you looked at Sony players, Nintendo players, and Xbox players, if you put them all in a room, you can tell for the most part who's playing what for the most part. Because these brands back then, other than just gaming, you had for food, for drinks, for music, for what kind of MP3 player we're using. We're using a Zune or an iPod. Like all these different brands were marketing themselves to a specific type of person. Nowadays, it's just trying to be, catering towards everyone, because now is a whole separate story why that's happening. But there was a lot more creativity. They were really tapping into people's minds and feelings and emotions about, hey, if you're this type of person, you're going to want to play this or you want to buy this console, X, Y, and Z. So I feel like that was also a really cool thing to be a part of. Because for me, out of all the consoles, I think the 360 is probably the second console that I have the most amount of variants for, as you can see on the screen, or I've shown already. And even there was one for the Gears of War one where it was an outer shell that had all this extra pop out and lights and the chains and everything that you could, enclose your console. And so like, hey, if you don't want to buy a whole other console just for the Gears edition, there's this, accessory you can add onto it. So it's kind of similar to the PS5 cover snap-on covers for like Spider-Man and other colorways out there. But it was a complete different time. Online, the single player, the multiplayer, the memories, the nostalgia, the new IPs that Xbox came out with. It was truly something that I feel like it was like a once in a lifetime hit that for me personally, growing up as a gamer, it was like perfect. It was almost perfect. And you had so many other games that till this day that came from that generation in general, not just the 360, that are still popular. Like look at Skyrim, look at GTA 5. Like that era of consoles and the 360 really pushed the boundaries of gaming. It really shaped gaming to what it is today. Multiplayer, it pushed it. Single player games got much more complex, a lot larger, more cinematic, more this, more that, more immersive, more emotional. It was completely different in that time, and I definitely miss it. And sometimes I get really nostalgic about it. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. The last part is we're going to be talking about how the 360 holds up today. Now, there are some people that you might find that are still playing PS3 and 360, but there are some online servers on for certain multiplayer games. You take your Game Pass account still will technically work for Xbox 360. If you have your old account and you just add Game Pass Core, you're able to play online again. Some of the games that I tried out were Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2. And I'm pretty sure there are certain games out there other than those two that are still online. I know PS3 as well. I've seen some videos, people talk about certain games online. But, it's crazy to me that there's still people that are playing on the Xbox 360 online, specifically Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2. Even though the Series X and the Series S, you're able to play Modern Warfare 1, 2, Black Ops 1, 2, and I think 3 online. After the Activision acquisition, Xbox turned on those servers, and you're able to play them through the Series X, the Xbox Series line. I don't think the servers for the 360 and the Series are not the same, I believe, because there was a Modern Warfare 2 server that I jumped into where it was unlimited time. The game would not end. So that's kind of, I'm pretty sure that kind of gave me this idea, like these are two different servers, possibly. Unless that was like a modded server that I ended up being on. It was a lot of fun. Now, you might be wondering, like, hey, like, why are you playing, like, how are you playing this? Like, it's HDMI. I know it's HDMI, but it may not look that good on a 4K TV or even a 1080 screen. But there are solutions out there like the RetroTink 4K, which I have, and other ones out there from RetroTink that are lower cost effective, and even other ones that are upscalers to make it a little bit easier on the eyes. On a larger screen on a 4K TV or a 2K monitor. You just have to do your own research. Just want to let you know, if you don't know already, that's out there. And plus the Xbox 360 already has HDMI out, so you don't have to mod anything, get extra converters or anything. Just, you need an HDMI upscaler. There are a bunch out there. Obviously, you get what you pay for. Some work, some don't. Just watch some YouTube videos. And I was able to log into my original account. I've been looking for it for a while because I've been wanting to do this video. I couldn't find it. I didn't know what the email I had because it's not an email that I use anymore. And I was like, okay, I got the email. I know which one it is, but I'm like, I don't remember the password. And I had to go through so many hoops to get it. And I was able to get it, log in, and just seeing my original avatar and seeing all my friends' avatars on there. I was like, man, where did the time go? And just seeing everyone's avatar snoozing and sleeping because no one's online or hasn't been online for a while. And seeing my gamer score and everything, I was like, man, what a time of gaming it was online. Like every night, even though sometimes with your friends you weren't playing the same games, you were just in party chat together. The customization, this and that, it was truly an amazing time. So if you do have a 360 and you want to just reminisce a little bit, there, like I said, you could use Xbox Core, Game Pass Core to reactivate Xbox Live and jump online. Do the research of what kind of servers. What games have online servers. There's one other thing I want to cover. Now, this may not cater towards everyone. The Xbox, every console has a modding community. There's things that you could do, customize it, add this, add that. Like people have had USB-C power to N64. So you use USB-C power supply, or upgrading the look of a GameCube, or adding this mod chip so that way you can add micro SD cards to load your games that you have for game preservation, so you don't have to use a disc and risk ruining it. The Xbox 360 has that. There are two of them, but the main one that I have is the RGH for the slim models. Now, the Xbox has so many different models for the 360, different generations because of the red ring of death. Don't forget about that. So do your research, but the RGH allows you to load up custom UI and load up games without a disc into the hard drive of the console. So now there are games on the Series X that are backwards compatible, but the problem is not everything got that support. If you have the disc or you want to buy it digitally, you're able to for those specific games. But there are some games that are not backwards compatible and they weren't backed by the program because Xbox eventually stopped it. they worked on whatever they're able to get with the licenses and the team and the efforts and the resources. Eventually, they put their hands up. Hey, this is all we can do. But they did a lot, to be honest. They did a lot. So if there are games out there that are not on the series backwards compatibility program, I would look into the RGH. If you don't have a disc, or what, you're pretty good at soldering, you want to do that, go ahead. You like modding your console. It's really cool. It has a custom UI. I was with a little bunch of games, and I jumped into UFC Undisputed 2010. I remember playing that game a lot and playing all the challenges and the memories behind it, and just having that all available on an old console where I could play it the way it was, on the console it was developed for, the controller and everything. Because there are emulators or everything, but sometimes you just, I feel like launching my 360 and doing it. So I just wanted to point that out. So this is kind of just my rambling about the 360, the nostalgia behind it, the taking you guys down memory lane a little bit. Let me know in the comments below. Do you have a 360? Have you had one? What games do you play on it? Do you play online? Do you plan on visiting your 360 again after this video? Do you plan on jumping in some online servers? Do you have the RGH mod? Have you thought about it? I don't know. Tell me down below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to conversate. And let me know if you have any of the limited edition consoles or collector's editions for Halo, Gears of War, and everything. Just let me know. I would love to conversate about it, because the 360 to me is an awesome generation, awesome console. And I'd love to hear from you guys. But that's about it, guys. Please like and subscribe. And peace.